Hello, I'm Gooner.
Hello, I'm Gunner, and welcome to episode 14 of Gooner Gunner Radio. Lots to talk about today. We're going to cover the Swansea game. We got some general club discussion, Sanchez, the contracts, a couple of things there. We've got a couple of questions slash topics from Twitter, which we're going to respond to. And then the usual features, tone of Twitter, rival watch, fact of the day. So let's get into it. Without further ado, the Swansea game. 4-0 to Arsenal. We were away from home at the Liberty Stadium. Apparently they've got the best win record against us of any other team in the Prem. It's like 45% or something. Well, that was prior to the game. So, it wasn't the easiest tasks, even though they're out of form. What's your thoughts in the game?
Yeah, that's an interesting stat there. We touched on it before, the game, because our result against them last season wasn't that great. So, yeah, it's an interesting fact. Considering their form, I think that probably reflects the result. I think 4-0 going into the game, if we had said 4-0, I think it's something we would have sort of been happy with. But I think you did, yeah. I think you did. Be expected. All Gunners all smug there. Good game. To be honest, I watched the game, but I was streaming it 3 o'clock. So I didn't really get a good feel for it. But we looked all right. We looked decent. I think once Swansea sort of tired, I think the goals came. Iwobi got a bit fortunate, but you've got to be there at the right place at the right time. He's the one who took the shot. And Wenger was speaking about him before the game as well, emphasising on his qualities. So it was nice for him to sort of get involved or play a big part in the goals and in the game. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was good from our perspective because we needed a sort of easy game, so to speak. And I think generally it was quite an easy game as Premier League games go. But I've got a couple of stats here. Sanchez scored his 14th Premier League goal of the season. That puts him equal top with Costa. I think Kane's one behind. Yeah, Kane got a hat-trick. So Sanchez is being consistent. That's good. But Giroud, I'm not sure what's going on with Giroud at the moment, but he's got 5 in 5. And he's averaging a goal every 71 minutes. I've been watching this goal every per minutes, per game or whatever. I've been watching this for about last 3 or 4 months, this particular stat. It hasn't moved. It's literally a goal like every 70 minutes. It's ridiculous. Any quick thoughts on Giroud? And bear in mind, he hobbled off with an ankle injury.
Yeah, and he's not starting games up until recently. I've got nothing to say, to be honest. I've always been a Giroud fan.
Yeah.
He gets so much negative press. I won't say press, but he don't get rated. People don't rate him at all. But they never focus on his qualities or talk about the qualities or what he brings. He starts for France, he starts for Arsenal. He's a good player. I saw things flying about before we signed him. Bayern Munich were looking at him as their replacement for Gomez, I think it was at the time. So you can't knock the fella, and what he's doing at the minute is great. And a lot of people tweeted on this, but you got considering what's going on with other players, but the guy's professionalism and what he gives every game. You saw him in the papers, I think, a couple of years ago when he sort of got caught cheating and stuff, but he just bounces back. Whenever he's under the cosh, he just bounces back with goals, and it's what you can do as a striker. So hats off to Giroud, really.
So we'll move on to the Sanchez thing real quickly. He was spotted being a bit grumpy coming off the pitch. Yeah. I think Wenger said that he wasn't really watching Sanchez at the time. He was more interested in Welbeck, who's been out for so long. Yeah, which is a good point. I mean, come on. Any thoughts on the Sanchez strop? Yeah,
it was a bit of a strop. It's uncalled for. Just gives the press and people more to talk about. It's only like 10 seconds or something. It's not like he walked off, sat on the bench for the whole time, sort of hiding, It was just that little clip, and obviously that's what gets put out. I'm not too bothered as long as he signs. If he doesn't sign, do you know what I mean? We replace him and we go out and sign someone bigger because it can be done. I don't know. What do you think?
Jesus. Well, look, to be honest, actually, I agree with you. Like, no player is bigger than the club. Exactly. And I think Wenger, I sort of feel that we could take that to be Sanchez being a little bit selfish, because when you think about Welbeck's situation, it should have been about him, that sub. He should have been like, yes, Welbeck, you get on there, you do your thing, I've done my thing. But at the end of the day, he's a fighter. We've all got our own little ways we do things.
Something I've noticed, I don't really like... Connor's looking at me, frowning. But I don't know if anyone else has picked up on it, and if they have, speak up. But I think his his attitude and his sort of behaviour in recent weeks has been a bit petulant, a bit childish. Even on the pitch, it's a bit stroppy. If it doesn't go right for him, you can see him physically or verbally sort of talking to teammates, which is fine. But he seems like he's doing it every game, throwing little mini strops on the pitch. And I don't know whether this is sort of coincided with his contract and whether he thinks he's almost not holding the club for ransom, but, you know, I'm the big dog here and I don't know.
Well, he's come out today and said he's happy at Arsenal, he's comfortable and he wants to win titles with us. So maybe he could sense the storm or his agents could sense the storm.
Is that something you picked up on?
But yeah, but going back to that point about the petulance of Sanchez, I have noticed it. On Twitter, people have noticed it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he started toning it down in the next few games, because when it gets to a level like that, these things do tend to get addressed in the dressing room.
You don't want people turning on you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to add to a negative atmosphere at all. There were times in games recently where he held onto the ball a bit too long or just stuff like that, which, yeah, I understand. But on a positive, we got the French boys who've just signed new contracts, Giroud, Koscielny and Coquelin.
Yeah, that's brilliant, especially Koscielny. He's our captain.
Have you seen this thing going around on Twitter about, I think people were calling him an Arsenal legend, and then there was a pretty big backlash saying there's no way he's an Arsenal legend. In my book, straight away, I'm not even hesitating, he's an Arsenal legend. He was there through the barren times. He's still there now. He's got 2 FA Cups. It's not incredible, but he's been loyal. He's easily one of the best defenders in the Prem. Like, what else can he do, really?
Yeah, agreed.
Is he a legend?
Nah,
Okay.
not yet. If he left tomorrow, he wouldn't be a legend for me.
All right, so you want to see some unbeaten seasons and trophies and some material things?
Not yet.
Just to back it up.
No, not yet. It all depends where he goes with his career. You're putting him in the same category as someone like Bergkamp and Henry or Perez, you know? It depends. If he goes on to like lesser things or dies down his career, I think you're more sort of like you're more swayed towards calling him a legend. But like, for example, I appreciate what Clichy and Sagna have done, etc., etc. I'm not saying they're a legend or not a legend, but like seeing them play for City right now, I wouldn't go and say, yeah, he's an Arsenal legend.
Yeah, true.
Do you know? Maybe when they retire, then maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I do see where you're coming from there, and that is true. Maybe that's one for pole position. We'll do that next week. Run a little poll and see what people think. Okay, really quickly, the news come out today that Alexis Sanchez has been video called into a Catalan court today to admit tax fraud of just under €1 million. And he's probably going to get a fine and a suspended sentence.
Don't know how sort of legit these claims are or this story is, but here's what it is, to be honest. He's not the first to come out or be caught. And as long as he doesn't get locked up, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think he probably just got caught up in Barcelona and all the shit that they do. All right, so let's get to the topics of Twitter. We got 2 today. Let's do the first one, and that's from @AFC_forehead83. How's it going, pal? All right, he says to us, your honest predictions for the Champions League games against Bayern. Over 2 legs, do you think we will go through? So he's just asking us for the overall result. I'll let you go first.
That's a good question. It's kind of around the corner now. Honestly, I think we can progress. It's tough because Bayern are still in sort of good form. They're not really in decline.
Boateng's going to be injured.
Oh, okay. When it comes to Arsenal, I don't really worry about opposing teams' defensive setup because even if we come across a really solid outfit, we're always an attacking team. Like, attacking's our thing. So I think we can unlock and break down any defence. It doesn't worry me. It's just that they're attacking, which worries me. But the reason why I think we will progress is being at home in the second leg. I think in recent years when we've gone out to these big teams in the quarterfinals, we give a good account of ourselves and we go out on away goals, or the Van Persie when he got sent off in Barcelona. It's silly things, but it's always been where that second game has been away from home. Of course, it's all about how we treat the home game. in his past, we've sort of fluffed the home games and then gone on to chase the game in the away leg and sort of exceeded expectations. So like people think, we go out and sort of beat Bayern or get a draw in their ground or etc. etc. So if we can beat Bayern away, or if we can get a good result in the first leg, I think we get a good chance. Yeah,
I totally agree. I think there's some good points there. That second leg is going to be a big advantage for us. I'm sure the crowd will be right behind the team. And sometimes that's where a lot of those dodgy decisions comes from, because the crowd gets on the refs' back. And these refs, they're not like Pierluigi Collini or whoever he was, where he didn't give a shit. These guys, they're quite soft nowadays. But Champions League, they expect the refs to be on our backs regardless. But yeah, I'm expecting a win. Overall, yeah, I think we're going to go through. I'd love to see us go there and grab a draw, but an away goal would be perfect. So worst case scenario, 2-1 down at the Allianz Arena. And yeah, 1-0 at home, 2-0 at home, I'll take it. But I think we're going to go through because we got a great team. All right. And we got another question. It's 2 questions from @Evor Cannon. How's it going, Evor? And he says, what are your points predictions for the top 6 from the next 2 games? He's giving us a bit of homework here. And the second question from him is Ramsey showing glimpses of returning to top form? Ooh, so 2 good ones there. We'll do the first one. What are your points predictions for the top 6 from the next 2 games? Okay, cool. So let's fly through it quickly. Arsenal have got Burnley at home and Watford away. Is it Watford away? Mm-hmm. And no problem there, 6 points. I'll be loudly confident about that. I think Watford have lost their last 5 in a row. It's the worst record in the Prem. I saw that earlier. And Burnley at home, even though they are tricky, they're a fucking good team.
They're good at home, though.
And they're good at home. That's where they pick up the majority of their points. Yeah. So even though they're high up the table, they're like 11th or 12th, it's an easy 6 points.
I think Burnley away would be tricky, but at home, I think we should win. So if we get 6 points, considering there's still big games, City Tottenham this weekend. So again, someone in the top 5 or 6 is dropping points. Man United are away to Stoke. Stoke are in good form at the minute again, so that should be a tricky one. I think I expect Liverpool to pick up 3 points against Swansea and Chelsea to pick up 3 against Hull. And then the following week, we've got Liverpool-Chelsea. So some really good fixtures for us, as long as we win our games. Man United, Hull, City, West Ham. That could be a tricky one for City, West Ham at home. I think they're starting to turn a corner. If we win our games, I think we can close the gap on Chelsea, maybe, because, well, yeah, they've got Liverpool in one of their games, but just extend the gap between us and who's behind us. I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's why he's asked us that, because after these 2 games, we've got Chelsea next. So there's a good chance we could be like 2 points behind if everything goes well.
Are we at that in a minute?
We're 8 points behind.
So for 8 now, Chelsea drop 3, they lose to Liverpool, and we've pick up the 6. So we go into their game 5 points behind them, beat them, 2 points. The gap's 2 points in 3 weeks. 2 points.
Please.
You know, so and that's not even far fetched.
Well, we'll go into the Ramsey one. Do you think Ramsey's coming back to top form? I think he is.
I'd disagree. I wouldn't say top form. I think that season where he basically had that season is Ramsey top form. We've yet to see that, whether it's the position that he plays in. But I'm glad he's back and getting game time. That's all he needs. It's like add those 2 up and that will equal top form, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a fair point. He was bagging in goals. He might have been in a different position, in the Ozil position, but regardless, he can go a bit more, a bit further. But I think I saw some stats on him, which I'm not going to go look for now, but they did look good, like passing percentage, and he's been looking good. He does get a lot of stick. But it's because he's got that Ozil thing where not everything he does is in your face, and he's just
sometimes he tries too much as well.
He does. He is a bit Hollywood, and that is very annoying. Hollywood Ramsey. All right, so the tone of Twitter. How's the tone of Twitter, man?
Tone of Twitter. It's been okay recently. It's been all right. It's been okay. It's been getting better. I think last week it was a shift towards a negative, but I think we're probably even or positive now.
Yeah, I think it's been decent. It usually is decent after a win. But yeah, it's a bit tetchy as always, but yeah, it's decent. All right, cool. Good ref, bad ref. What was your opinion of the ref for the Swansea game?
Yeah, no obvious complaints. I think, what game was I watching?
Well, I know United they scored another offside goal apparently. And it's apparently without their offside goals in the last 5 games, they'd be like 12.
I know, it's ridiculous. Blatantly offside. Blatantly, and they don't want to hear it. But that's it. The referee in that game, who was it? Michael Oliver, I think it was. Hats off to him for giving that penalty on Pogba, because like 80%, 90% of the referees would have bottled that. Yeah. They would have turned away, ball would have gone out the box, they'd have carried on running up the pitch. Kind of hats off to him for giving that.
Okay, yeah, fair play. All right, tweet of the week. Tweet of the week this week is from @Northbank Nadeem. And he tweeted on the 13th of January, "What China are doing to world football is precisely what Chelsea and City did to English football 10 to 15 years ago. You reap what you sow."
Bang on, says it all, to be honest.
Nailed it. And let's hope more Chinese clubs poach the Chelsea squad and ravage it just in time for their stadium, their new stadium, the Bird's Nest or whatever it is. It looks ugly. Have you seen it? It looks fucking horrid.
Have you seen that picture where someone's compared it next to, like, when you put tissue paper around a toilet seat? It's like the angles when you completely cover a toilet seat with like tissue paper. It was like that.
That's brilliant.
Okay, so this week's Rival Watch. So, the Yids won 4-0. I watched that game, can't lie. They look good, played well. And West Brom have been difficult to beat. So, got to say well done, the Yids. 4-0 Arsenal against Swans. Chelsea convincing against Leicester, who are piss poor. Everton battered City 4-0. We don't hear none of that. When we lost at Goodison a few weeks ago, it was an outcry, and Arsenal losing to Everton, title hopes dashed, etc. But 4-0 City, Everton, and do you know what I mean? Anyway, Man United, Liverpool is a boring 1-1. So it was quite a good week for us, weekend for us. Coming up, Liverpool versus Swansea, you expect them to pick up 3 points. City Spurs, tasty, a draw for me. Arsenal Burnley, 3 points. Chelsea Hull, Snodgrass with a last minute winner. And that's all for Rival Watch.
Brilliant, that was great.
So this week's fact of the day. It's kind of interesting fact. On this day, on Sunday, when we played Burnley, it was the first live radio broadcast of a match. And of course it had to involve the Arsenal playing Sheffield United. It was 1-1. And the commentator was actually a rugby expert who had commentated on a rugby game previously. But yeah, that was the first live radio broadcast of a match.
Wow, that's quite interesting. And it's interesting that it was a rugby commentator as well. So shows how big rugby was back then as well. Maybe even bigger than football. I don't know. I need to look that up. It's hard to imagine. But all right, thanks for that. Finally, we got predictions. Burnley at the Emirates. How do you think it's going to go down? Scores and goal scorers, please.
3-0 Arsenal. Sanchez, Ramsey, Giroud.
Ooh, sounds brilliant. I'll take that all day. Just because Burnley, I just think they're going to get a little goal. I still think we're going to win 4-1 because we're just banging them in at the moment. Even the opposition teams are scoring for us, so it's good. All right.
Where's Walcott?
Oh, shit. Oh, God. I know, it's so scary. I don't know where he is.
Because he was in good form, and you don't really hear of much injury or... okay, let's just hope it's not a bad injury. But I saw another thing. Like, I've seen a couple of videos of the post-match City interview that he did with BT Sports, where he's sort of questioning a couple of players. Like, he's not naming players, but it's ironic since then he's disappeared.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because do you remember in the interview he was like certain players... I can't remember it word for word. It was like certain players shouldn't have the right to speak up because they haven't like put in a shift or something like that.
If anybody knows further about Theo Walcott, give us a little message on Twitter.
#Where's Walcott.
Let's get to the bottom of this. All right, cool. Thank you for listening. You've been a great audience. Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, check out the Gooner Gunner .big cartel for the t-shirts. We got lovely red one and a beautiful black one, which actually looks really good. Those are the flagship tees. We've got new ones coming. And leave us a rating on iTunes, a good rating. And if you're not happy, then tell us personally. Cheers.
We really appreciate all your feedback, good, positive, constructive, whatever. We really appreciate that all. So that's it from me, Gunner.
I'll see you next week. Come on, you Gooners.
Come on, you Gunners.